Well, hello everybody, and this is the new Lockheed C-130H Hercules in X-Plane 11, been updated and upgraded. As you can see right here, we've got the Garmin 530 instead of the 430. We've got the FMS, and we've still got our steam gauges. So, very nice. Nice upgrades. I like it. And then, of course, along with that, which comes with it, is the L-100-30, which is the glass cockpit, and also is a stretch version of this Hercules. It's 15 feet longer, if I remember correctly. And of course, here we've got our glass cockpit, kind of nice. And I'm looking forward to doing the next leg in my flights that I'm going back to California in with the C-130. The panel has all been upgraded. I like it a lot. The APU control now is at the very top. Um, well, so it's just very cool. And then here's your engine starting switches and your fuel gauges, of course. A lot of it still looks the same, but they've done some nice work to upgrade it. Well, hello everybody, Bug Eater 64 here, and as you just saw, we've got that updates to the Hercules, the C-130, which can be found at the it's a payware aircraft, but it's only $25, $24 and some change. And to me, if you like turboprop, old, four engine aircraft, you can't go wrong with it. It flies well. Yes, it doesn't have some of the finer visuals or full systems use as maybe some of the other manufacturers, PMDG, Carenado, and such. But these people have done an awesome job as far as I'm concerned. She looks good. She's easy to paint. I've got my one of my liveries on her. I left the wings white so that I just at a glance, along with the air charter service symbols, I can tell the difference between this bird, the L-100-30, to the normal C-130H that I've flown in my earlier leg on this ferry flight group, but going 3,000 plus miles from TUPJ back to KWJF in California. So we're sitting at Miami International, and we're going to be flying from Miami International to Dallas Fort Worth, and we're going to use this new bird to see how she goes. So with that, come along for the ride, enjoy yourselves, because I'm going to have a lot of fun bringing it to you. So see you inside the aircraft. Okay, and here we are with the L-100-30, and if you already own this aircraft, then the update is actually free. Also, there's a third aircraft or variant, and that is the Firefighter variant, which I didn't show. But we're just going to go ahead and give a test flight of just about almost 1,000 miles, 972 miles, I think, is the total. And so we've checked our throttle controls and our mixture controls. So those appear to be working. Now we'll check the flight axis controls. And everything seems fine there. So this is going to be the first flight of the L-100-30 for me. So turn on the battery. Then we'll go ahead and get the APU started. Okay, and APU is up and running. So we're going to switch it to run. Okay, and then we'll get our electrical power up and running. And let's get all our fuel switches on. Fuel booster, rich mixture pumps. Let's get our beacon on. And our nav lights. We'll go ahead and get them done now. Avionics. Go. All right, so avionics are up and running. That's all looking good. And we've already got the radio tuned to our ATIS here, so all I gotta do is flip the switch.
Miami INTL Information Tango. 1600 Zulu weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 24,000 scattered, 35,000 scattered, temperature 14, dew point -15. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runways 09, 08 left, departing runway 08 right. Advise on initial contact you have Tango.
Okay. And what we'll be doing is we'll make a right turn and basically go 180 degrees from where we're facing now to get to runway 9. Okay, we're going to try and use the FMC. We'll see how that goes. Clear that. Let's move this. Excuse my sniffles. All right, let's go here. I've got a pre-planned flight plan in here, so we can load it up. We should be good to go. Let's look at our VNAV. And we're going to be cruising. I could just leave it at 18,000, but we're going to just cruise at 10,000. The rest of it looks good. So we'll check the legs. And it doesn't appear that there's any discontinuity. So let's go ahead and set our departure. We're going to be going runway 8 right, I believe. And we'll use 12. Y2. All right. And execute. So the flight plan is showing. We don't have to worry about arrival right now. I can add that later. Okay, so that's all looking good. That should be all I need right now for the flight plan. Okay. So we're showing a heading of 270 right now. And we'll set our altitude. 10,000. Vertical speed, to start with, we're going to be at about 800, maybe 1,000. Okay, and airspeed, we'll go ahead and start at 173. I'm going to bump that up afterwards. Okay. So flight director is on, but the autopilot is not, so that's fine. Yeah, I can't find, it just gets rid of the, can't find the button that brings up the clipboard, be able to activate or remove the full aircrew. Anyway, so let's see about getting the engine started. I'm going to start with engine 1. There's a couple differences of opinion as to whether or not to start with engine 3 or engine 1, depending upon, you know, who's the captain of the ship today. I've started it both ways, going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 2, 1. So, seems to all work just the way it's supposed to. Okay, we've got good engine start on engine 1. Let's go with engine 2. You can just listen to it and hear it and know it started. Alrighty. I like this airplane. I always have. I mean, it's X-Hangar Group has just done a very nice job for for this airplane. It's not freeware, and I don't think it should be. I mean, they've done a lot of work on this. And it's very inexpensive. I mean, my goodness. You can find them at xhanger.com. They do a number of different airplanes, and, just a fine group. They've done a good job, especially in this update. And like I said, if you already have the aircraft in your hangar, then the updates are free. So engines are up and running. But we're about ready to go. Flight plan is in. It should work. But in the other version I had, my first flight, I had to fly by heading only. I just couldn't get it to, fly the purple, as we say. It just wouldn't fly the GPS flight plan track. So let's go ahead and let's see, pitot heat. Gonna put that on. Alright, let's start taxiing. Very friendly handling airplane. Just like the real one. My experience in the real world with the C-130, has always been a great pleasure. They did the flying, and I walked out the back door. Or ramp. Okay, we are going to taxi down to the end of the runway, but I'm not going to make you live through that all. So let's get down there. And here we are, getting ready to approach our hold short line at the end of runway 9. Alrighty. So we're going to pull up here and stop for a minute and double check everything. Get the flaps down to takeoff configuration. And let's get the landing lights on and the taxi lights off. Okay, that's all. Everything's looking good. Engines look good. Well, let's get going. I don't think I'm even going to stop today. I think we're just going to line her up and throttles to the wall and let's go. We'll rotate between 110 and 120. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Okay, vertical speed. Autopilot on. Some altitude. Flaps coming up. Auto throttle. Let's turn the speed up some. Get up to about 240. And it doesn't appear. Now this is all active. And it should be, and I've got my indicator to follow nav1. Okay, so as my backup, let's go to Garmin 530. We'll load in the flight plan. All right, let's activate that leg. Enter flight plan. GPS. So with that, it should, let's see. It's not flying the FMC. All right. Okay, it should follow the GPS. And it's following something, but I don't know what. Okay, throttles here, that's all looking fine. Both switches, pilot and co-pilot, are set to GPS. Three 62 miles. See what it levels out at. And dudes, that's not 323. All right. I could fly every one of those legs, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to go ahead, fly a direct flight to Dallas Fort Worth. See if it'll even do that. There's probably something I'm missing that I'm not doing right. I'm flying away from that waypoint. Okay, well, let's go ahead and activate that. Okay, so it's activated for KDFW. And our track, or our heading, should be 307. It is not following that time. Okay, so speed is fine. Everything's looking fine. But we're going the wrong way. Ain't that something? So, still climbing. Well, we're at 10,000. Climbing to 10,000. What's our? All right. 310. See, it's showing lock on the autopilot, but it's not doing it. But if I click heading, it'll turn to the heading. So we'll just fly to Dallas doing it this way. All right, coming in for a landing. We made it to Dallas without issue. I'm gonna have to go to the X-Hangers forums and see what. Yeah, well, I need to look at the change logs too for the update to see what some of the known issues were. But I'm pretty sure in most cases it's pilot error when it comes to some of the systems not working quite right. So I'm not going to blame them at all because I've got everything is working other than me accordingly to for the navigation. But we got here, so that's fine. We're on our approach. And we're in pretty good glide path. See both two white, two red. Looking good. Nice and smooth. Hit the reversers. Ease them on. Blow us down nice and easy to about 40. And we can kill the reversers and then leave the runway. Alright. Reversers off. We'll just ease up here. We'll start cleaning up the aircraft. Get the flaps up. And we will make a right turn to exit the runway. Okay, we are clear of the runway. Gonna have to make a pretty sharp right turn here to get onto the taxiway. This runway is a long way from the terminal area. Could have done a little better planning. So we've got a long way to go, and I'm not going to make you live through all that, just like the first taxi. So we're going to get going here, get ourselves set up, and I'll see you at the terminal. All right. Well, we made it to Dallas. Fort Worth. Good flight, no issues whatsoever. I think the problem is me. I could not get the FMC to work, or as far as that, any of the autopilot following GPS line. It for me, it just won't do it. Now, it may be something I'm doing wrong. This was, and this is the very first flight we made in the glass cockpit. Other than just using the autopilot in heading mode only, everything worked fine. The auto throttle works fine. Vertical speed changes, all that works absolutely perfect. But I can't get it to follow GPS. So, I think it's probably something I'm not doing quite right. The other thing is in this particular version, the L-100-30, I can't find the switch so that I can, turn on and off the aircrew members, which is a bit of a problem because I like to move over to the right seat sometimes, and it makes it easier to see some of the controls and so on. But, other than those minor things, and again, maybe somebody will put in the comments where the switch is in this particular version. Clicking here gets rid of or returns the yoke. So I'm not sure. There was in the standard C-130H, there's a little red button up here. You click that, and it brings up the board with the aircrew position, turn on and off, and gives us some information. So wasn't able to find that switch. I'm sure it's here someplace. But other than that, the aircraft worked extremely well. I've got no issues whatsoever. Good flight. Everything went well. Good landing. And other than the fact I picked the runway that was furthest away from the terminal, so it was a long jaunt back here. But we made it. Everything went well. My other minor issue, this was supposed to be an Air Hauler 2 flight coming from Miami to Dallas-Fort Worth. And as you can see here, Air Hauler is ready to go. The only problem is that I forgot to start it. Yeah. So we're not going to get credit for this flight. But that's okay. I'll just have to do it again later. Look at incorrect aircraft should be C-130. Oh, so it won't let me use the new version. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Air Hauler. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the flight, because I certainly did, and I'm going to get rid of Air Hauler. So go away. Anyway, sure hope you had fun on the flight. I had a good time bringing it to you, as always. And until next time, this is Bug Eater 64, and as always, please remember, safe flying.